They pressed play at his funeral and within minutes people were walking out. His dad was already trying to shut it down, and the police were on their way before the video even ended. They dimmed the lights halfway through the service and said he'd left one final message. A video. The screen flickered on behind the coffin while his mother was still crying into a tissue, and for a second, everyone thought it was going to be one of those soft, edited montages. Childhood photos. Music. Smiles. The kind of thing that makes people feel like grief has some shape to it. Instead, it opened on him sitting in a chair, alive, staring directly into the camera like he was waiting for us. No music, no edits, just him. And he looked calm. That was the first thing that felt wrong. Not sad, not sick, not even tired. Calm. He leaned forward slightly, hands clasped together, and said, "If you're watching this, then they've already buried me." There was this quiet ripple through the room. People shifting in their seats. His aunt made a small noise like she didn't understand what she was hearing. I remember looking at the coffin, then back at the screen. Because something in the way he said it didn't feel like closure. It felt like a setup. I wasn't family. Not really. I'd known him through work. Same department for about a year. Close enough that I got invited, but not close enough to be in any of the photos they'd already laid out around the room. His name was Aaron. He kept to himself mostly, but he had this way of noticing things. Quiet stuff. The kind of details people usually miss because they're not looking for them. I didn't think much of it when he stopped showing up. HR said it was medical leave. Then a week later, they said he'd passed. No details. Just gone. The funeral felt rushed. That's the only way I can describe it. Like everything had been put together too quickly, too neatly. Closed casket, short service, limited speaking. His father did most of the talking. Tall guy. Controlled. The kind of voice that fills a room without needing to raise it. He spoke about Aaron like he'd been fragile. Struggled. Made mistakes. He kept using phrases like, "He tried his best," and "We did everything we could." It didn't match the Aaron I knew. Not even close. But I didn't say anything. Nobody did. Until the video started. Aaron on the screen took a breath and leaned back slightly. "This isn't a goodbye," he said. "I already said that. This is just the part they don't want you to hear." Someone near the front whispered something sharp, like a warning. His father shifted in his seat. Aaron continued anyway. "If my dad is sitting in the front row right now, he's probably already trying to figure out how to turn this off." A few people actually turned to look. And yeah, he was. Subtle, but not subtle enough. He was leaning toward one of the staff near the AV setup, saying something under his breath. The video didn't stop. Aaron gave a small nod, like he expected that. "It won't turn off," he said. I made sure of that. That was the moment the room changed. You could feel it. That shift from grief to something else. Something tighter. More alert. "I didn't die from what they told you," Aaron said. No hesitation, no build-up. Just dropped straight into it. "They said it was complications. Something internal. Something unfortunate." He shook his head slowly. "That's not true." There was this sound from behind me. Someone's chair scraping the floor. Someone else saying, "What is this?" under their breath. Aaron kept going. "I've been recording things for a while now. Dates, conversations, documents, because I knew if anything happened to me, they'd try to control the story." He paused, looked directly into the camera again. "So I need you to listen carefully." The first thing he showed wasn't even dramatic. Just a screenshot. A message thread. Names blacked out except for one. His father's. The text was short. Clinical. "Adjust dosage. He's asking too many questions." There was a low murmur across the room. Confusion? Denial? Someone laughed quietly like it had to be fake. Aaron continued. "He just said, that was 3 weeks before I died." Then the screen cut to another image. A prescription record. Same medication listed 3 different times. Different dosages. Increasing? No doctor's signature on the last one. His mother started crying again, but it sounded different now. Not soft. Sharp. Like something tearing. His father stood up. Actually stood up this time. He didn't make a scene. He just turned and started walking toward the exit like none of this applied to him. Like he could just leave it behind. Aaron's voice followed him out anyway. "I didn't consent to the final increase," he said. "I told them I was fine. I told them I didn't need it." The door opened. Closed. Silence. Aaron leaned forward again. "That's just the beginning," he said. And I swear, there was something almost apologetic in his face. Like he knew what this was about to do. Not just to them. To everyone. He started laying it out piece by piece. Like he'd planned every second of it. Financial records first. Accounts linked to his father's business. Transfers that didn't make sense. Money moving through shell companies that traced back to family members sitting in that room. Then emails. Internal ones. Between his parents. Talking about containment. About keeping things quiet. About reputation. Each one dated. Each one real. You could feel people around me starting to check their phones. Whispering. Looking at each other like they were trying to decide if they already knew some of this. Then it shifted. And this is where it got worse. Because it stopped being about money. And started being about people. There's a reason they kept me close, Aaron said. His voice had changed slightly. Still controlled, but tighter. They needed someone to carry things. The screen showed a list. Names, dates, notes. At first, I didn't understand what I was looking at. Then I recognized one of the names. A girl from our office. She'd quit suddenly a few months back. No explanation. Just, gone. Aaron tapped the list. These are the ones they couldn't explain, he said. The room went dead quiet. No whispers. No movement. Nothing. I wasn't supposed to see this, he continued. But they made a mistake. They assumed I'd stop asking questions if they gave me just enough answers. He gave a small, humorless smile. I didn't. The next clip wasn't a screenshot. It was audio. Low quality, like it had been recorded on a phone left in a pocket. 2 voices. One of them was unmistakable. His father. Talking about handling it. About making sure it doesn't come back. About using Aaron if necessary. There was a pause in the recording. Then a third voice. Female. Quiet. Asking what would happen if something went wrong. His father laughed softly. It won't, he said. Someone in the room gasped. Loud. Too loud. And that broke the silence again. People started talking over each other. Questions. Denials. Accusations. The priest stood up, looking completely lost. Like he'd just stepped into something he wasn't equipped to handle. Aaron let the noise build for a second. Then he spoke again. And the sound system somehow cut through all of it. Like it was right next to you. I know some of you already suspected, he said. The room quieted again. Not completely, but enough. I know some of you chose not to look too closely. Another pause. I don't blame you. That landed heavier than anything else he'd said. Because it didn't feel like an attack. It felt like recognition. Then he looked straight into the camera again. And I know some of you helped. That's when people started leaving. Not rushing. Not panicking. Just standing up, walking out, one by one. Like staying suddenly meant something. Like being seen there mattered. Aaron exhaled slowly. This is the last part, he said. I've already sent everything to the authorities. A few people stopped moving. Turned back. He nodded slightly. Not just the police. Multiple agencies. Different jurisdictions. Another pause. By the time you're watching this, they'll already be putting it together. The screen went black for a second. Then came back on. Closer shot this time. His face filled most of it. And for the first time, he didn't look calm. He looked tired. I didn't want it to end like this, he said. I wanted to believe I was wrong. He shook his head slightly. I wasn't. He looked off to the side for a second, like he was checking something. Then back at the camera. If you're still in that room, you need to leave. That hit differently. Because he wasn't talking to his family anymore. He was talking to everyone else. Because when this finishes, he said, they're going to realize exactly what I've done. He held eye contact with the camera. With all of you as witnesses. The video cut to black. No music. No fade out. Just gone. For a few seconds, nobody moved. It felt like the air had been pulled out of the room. Like everything was thinner. Harder to breathe. Then someone near the back stood up quickly and left. Then another. Then a few more. The kind of movement that spreads without anyone saying anything. I stayed. I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't feel like I understood what I'd just seen yet. Or maybe because part of me knew leaving wouldn't change anything. About 5 minutes later, the doors opened again. Not quietly this time. Uniforms? Multiple. They didn't rush. They just walked in like they already knew where they were supposed to be. And that's when it clicked. Not during the video. Not during the accusations. Right then, watching them move through the room like it had already been decided. This wasn't a message. Not really. It was timing. Aaron hadn't just told the truth. He'd made sure it landed at the exact moment it couldn't be buried with him. What would you do if you were sitting in that room and realized you were watching a dead man expose his own family in real time? Let me know in the comments.